Yeah, I think we should start with a little introduction. Let me share my screen. And as you see here, coming soon is almost not true anymore because it's already there. So you can find it in the shops. And I'm really looking forward to the first people that actually use it in their business. I mean, apart from the studies, we did two studies with two modules or with the two main modules, and we had incredible results. They are just one study just finished 2 days ago, and the marketing team is putting that all in motion. And so what is the story behind the business suite? So the business suite originated as I thought about what we did at TimeWaver. So at TimeWaver, we have TimeWaver Business, and this is basically the professional branch for all kinds of coaches, professional coaches in the business area, and of course also business owners, big companies, middle companies. So there we are widely successful, apart from the fact that we don't have an internal team that's basically only focusing on that. So our internal team is focusing on all different kinds of applications of information feed analysis. And then I thought, okay, if they are successful uh, without putting in so much energy only for this particular, yeah, let's say, application area, let's see how successful we could be if we put this in social selling and network marketing and actually tailor make it for social selling and network marketing. So that's what I then did with Marcus, of course. So Marcus engaged very deeply in those, in the creation of the databases, the concept, and so on. And we basically took the best that we could find from the professional applications and put it in something that is usable by a normal, let's say, Healy World member, even from the start. Also in the more, let's say, difficult parts or more advanced parts. So it's let's say, all-in-one suite that we actually created. And it also started out as just one module. So it was just one module. Okay, let's do it like that. And then I thought, okay, I mean, our business is a little more complex than the usual business, so I think we also need a little more help there. And that's how the idea of the business suite originally actually was created. And it actually was executed quite well because it was one of the first products that were completely planned from the start to the beginning. We defined everything from the start and just executed on it. And yeah, that was really nice to see. And that's how business also should be. So you have a goal, you plan it, and then you simply execute. Now let's deep dive into the business suite. So the first thing, of course, is understanding the business databases. In the business suite, those business databases are used two times. So one time in the business coach and one time in the target optimization. There we engage basically the same databases. And as you know, our compensation plan or the usual way of doing business is you start small and depending on how much you basically want to gain or what is your type, you end up being a leader. So you share the product, so you know the product, you get to used to the product, you use the product, you share about it because you're amazed about the product, and then you already get in the next stage. You usually build a team because, as you know, a business is not really run very easily by one person alone because you need all kinds of traits, all kinds of gifts to actually be successful on a big scale. So you immediately go to a team builder and see that you find people that can do things that you cannot do in such a beautiful way. And of course, last but not least is the leader. So if you really engage in leading bigger teams and also finding other leaders, then the business suite, of course, holds also some gems for you. So let's go to the next slide. And here we have already an overview of the sharer databases. So we have like 6 databases that are usually most important when you start in the business. And that's, for example, success recipes. So every one of you knows that there are a few things that you do in business that are always the same. And if you do them proper, you will be successful. And that is success recipes. And those things also enable you to duplicate what you do on a daily basis, and that you don't need to reinvent the wheel every time you start in a new day. And of course, success tips, those are the things that, let's say, the most successful people found that you should know to be successful. And as I learned in a big event in Munich, so the follow-up is very important. So follow-up, as I learned there, is if you follow up one time, it's like 1% of people that you will convince. If you follow up 2 or 3 times, it's 2 or 3%. But if you follow up like 16 to 20 times, it's an 80% conversion rate, let's put it like that. So follow-up is quite important. And of course, lead generation. So you need to find ways to find people apart from the people that you already know. And of course, the mindset of sharing, because it's not about pushing people to buy something. It's about sharing your experience, sharing the product, and then actually getting the people to find themselves in the things you tell them, and that they find, okay, that's something I also want to have. And of course, as everything, you have start obstacles. Nothing basically goes on its own. I mean, there are some lucky people that say, okay, I'm really blessed in life, so everything basically came together. But if you really ask them in depth what they experienced, they had a lot of setbacks, usually also. They just never gave up. Then let's go to the team builder databases. So in team building, of course, you need a mindset for team building. It's not about I'm the greatest, I need to do that, I'm the only one that knows what to do. No, now you're basically working in a team, and in a team, usually you need to ask people, okay, you're the specialist, how would you do it? And then you can contribute. And if you basically accept that someone else is better at something than you are, you might learn a lot, and this person also feels appreciated. Then, of course, psyche, you need the right, let's say, traits to be successful in a team. Upline support, that's also very important. So you need to ask your upline for support. It's not like, yeah, don't bother them. And no, they are working with you. So really, that's also a very, very powerful database. And of course, obstacles team building. So usually if you are working in a team, everyone knows that if you're in a partnership, uh, usually you find a lot of, let's say, ground for friction, because you think differently than the others think, but that can be solved. And of course, downline teamwork, that's also very important. So not only your upline needs to support you, but also you need to support your downline. You need to support your team. Time management, very crucial, because it's not your time anymore. So you're not responsible for you anymore. No, now you're suddenly responsible for all the other members of your team, and you need to respect their time management and find a common ground. And last but not least, goals. So you need to have also a common goal. And there we have a beautiful database. Then the leader databases. So if you engage as a leader, you need leadership qualities. So you really need to have basically a mindset of sharing and of sharing your knowledge, but also you need a mindset of serving people. So as a leader, your main thing you need to do, or your main mindset should be to serve people with your knowledge, with your wisdom. And only if you have this mindset, the people will look up to you and also engage with you. Of course, you need to be, let's say, straightforward, but always in a serving manner. Then, of course, obstacle management. I mean, if you have bigger companies or worked in bigger companies, you know, management is nothing that comes from itself. It's really a different kind of beast, like I would call it. So management is nothing trivial. So this database really can help. Marketing tools are, of course, most important, are always important, but as a leader, you can also administer them in a bigger way. And of course, mindset leading. So you need to be in a positive mindset, a charismatic personality to actually lead people in the right way. And one of the most important things, in my opinion, personality development, because this is important in every stage of your life. But when you are a leader and you're not working on your personal shortcomings, that can be very, very disappointing on the long term. So always work on your personal development. That's also what you find a lot in those coaches, or they will tell you. It's the most important asset is you. So don't engage in buying lots of, I don't know, uh, material things. No, if you invest your money and your energy to a large extent in personally developing, that is your biggest asset, because if you personally develop, you are worth much more. I mean, worth in a positive way, uh, and you can be much more more successful. And of course, downline support. I think that's given. So you need to support the people that you work with. Now let's see what we have as the first module, and that's the business coach. And the business coach is basically a very powerful tool to build and nurture a synergetic team environment. So find basically the place where there's something going wrong or where you need support and improve it. And of course, also cultivating your leadership qualities. So the more precise you know what is wrong, the faster you can succeed in such things. And of course, the most important thing, you're utilizing the information field analysis to enhance your decision making and priorities business activities. So find the right thing to improve and make the right decisions based on that for your business. And last but not least, of course, personal growth. So you always should have a mindset that is oriented towards success and overcoming obstacles. As you know, when you hear about very successful sportsmen, for example, you always hear, yeah, he had so many cups, he won so many tournaments, were successful winning, but you never hear how often they failed. And they failed a lot, but they never give up. So overcoming obstacles is one of the biggest traits you need. And here we have two slides. I just reduced it to two small screens to make it very, let's say, easy to understand. So you basically first analyze all the business areas that you have. And in the business areas, you find the most important always on top. In this here we have, for example, start obstacles. And then you analyze in those single basically databases in depth, I think 3 entries that resonate with you in the most way or in the biggest way. And you can also do that with a focus, of course. And then you find those things that you can change or should change or integrate in your business. The next module is also one of my favorites because it's a very powerful, fast thing to use, and that's the personality analysis module. So basically what you do is you empower yourself with deep insights into your personality traits, so strengths and areas and weaknesses, and of course how you basically work, and that can be very powerful. So basically what you do, you discover your personality and you yeah, do it through a very, very simple questionnaire. So you really need to answer only 3 questions and you are there. And what you gain out of those 3 questions is a comprehensive profile detailing your strength, your weaknesses, and of course, a description for your sales type and for your personality type. And how is this useful? It's useful because you understand how you basically work yourself. So how am I basically perceived by others? And of course, you also see what strength you can focus on and what weaknesses you better give one of your team members. So if you know you cannot be very successful in your weakness, then let someone else do this thing. And of course, last but not least, the personal growth. So you can now, based on your traits, analyze in the information field how to improve them. So usually this is, or the module is divided in 2 parts. It's the first half of your life and the second half of your life. In the first half of your life, it's all about excelling, getting stronger, being better at what you do, being the best. So you basically engage in the analysis in your strength or your main functions, let's put it like that. And in the second half of your life, you engage in the opposite of your main functions. So what things that are not your thing to do usually, because in the second half of your life, you want to get balanced out. And that means that you are working on your weaknesses. And we all recognize or all see that if you look at the parents, so if you have like young children and they come to their parents, there's always lots of conflicts. And if they go to their grandparents, usually that's much more harmonic because they are working on getting balanced out. And that is, of course, perfect if you are young and let's say a little stressful to your parents. The next module, oh no, here we see just the slides or the single screens. So here is where you answer the questions. And here you get a very big, or big, let's say, extensive overview over your character traits. So you can scroll down there and find all those things and learn a lot about yourself. And then you can analyze in depth, and then you get really, really simple things like here, targeted listening, listening to the sound of nature or the city to sensitize the ear. So it's very simple things, but that should basically help you to get your strength blooming. Now, one of my favorites, the target optimization module. So as we all know, if you don't have a target, a very good defined goal, you will never reach anywhere because you need to have in your mind a clear target. And as I recently learned, we have a part of our brain that actually is there only to solve problems. So you encounter a problem, and this part of your brain constantly thinks of solutions, 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 solutions. And the more you do that, the more you are problem solving, the more efficient this part of the brain gets, and the more or the faster you get good solutions. And of course, if you have a clear target, this solution system in your brain can work towards something, and that can be very efficient. So first of all, you need to learn how to define your goals clearly and consciously. So I will deep dive in that in the next presentation. So I will skip this one. Then, of course, you get an in-depth analysis to discover how to use the information feed to identify and utilize information that accelerates your path to those goals. So what you do basically is you define a very good goal. Then you analyze in the business databases what information in those business databases helps me to achieve this goal. And then you can work with those things very easily. And of course, you have those actionable insights, so you can integrate those easily into your daily business. And of course, always send them in the information field to basically give you the extra edge. So here are some screens. So here you add basically your target. We all know that the desired state description, and background information. We will see that in the next presentation. And then you have the mindset sharing. For example, so dedication. I am willing to make sacrifices and work hard to be fully dedicated to my business. So that's something very straightforward. So you really understand what to do. So let me go to the next presentation. Just a second. Here we go. And that's, as I said, my favorite module, the target optimization. So let's deep dive in how does the target optimization actually work. Yeah, so here you basically, or now we will learn, or I try to explain you in the best way, how to formulate the right target text. So as we know, a focus text. And that's quite funny. I had a training with a Polish group, and one of them came up with a very, very good thing. And she said, I mean, to formulate a focus sentence or a target is like a Google search. So the better you type in what you want, the higher is the probability that you get a search result on top that actually fits exactly what you need. And that's the same thing here. Yeah, I think we can skip that we also had. Yeah, and here we have it, the desired state, the desired state description, and the background information. So that's the first step in the module that you need to fill, the desired state. And the desired state is basically something in the future that you describe in a very short sentence. The desired state description is the detailed version of what you want to achieve. And the background information is basically the vision behind what you want to achieve. So let's deep dive into how to formulate a proper target. And first thing is, goals need to be positively in the present tense. So it's in the present tense and it always needs to be positive. It's not like, I don't want that, I'm not successful. That's the worst target you can basically get. No, it's, I want to be successful. I want to achieve X, Y, Z. And then describe as precisely as possible what you want to achieve. And do not use negations, because negations just confuse everything. Because if you use negations, you don't really think proper what you want to achieve. So you really need to get the thing that's in your mind properly written down. And of course, targets usually should be measurable. So you should also have a feeling of reaching a target, of being successful. And your targets need to be ambitious. So always be very ambitious. Think big is the usual phrase that people use, but always be realistic. So if it's completely impossible, your mind will reject it. So your problem-solving part of the brain will not see a solution. It's impossible, so it doesn't work. So it always needs to be realistic. And of course, one very important thing, make sure that the people around you that support you are aligned with that goal. There are two possibilities. Either the people support you or they don't support you. If they don't support you, there are another two possibilities. Either they are not your friends or your target is completely insane. So either you need to find a new target or you need to find new friends. Yeah, and find a suitable date for achieving your goal. So it should be something that your mind can work towards on a time basis also. Because if it's like, yeah, I will do something in the future, it's nothing that you can basically work towards. It's something you, yeah, put a little energy in usually. But we want to put all the energy in if we have a decent goal. So here's a small example, which is basically my team is working together very efficiently and we are referring 10% more Healy World products than last month. Very simple, very straightforward, one sentence. And then the desired state description is like the team member responsible for online advertisement optimizes the copy and generates 20% more leads than last month. The team member organizing the events are running the presentations and the catering very well, and all participants are in a very good mood, and so on. And then background information, the vision. My whole team works together like one big family, and everyone has each other's back in good times and in bad. That is a proper target. Of course, you can put in everything you like. Now, what should you do next? So the next thing is you should imagine, really close your eyes and imagine, I already reached that goal. How would that feel like? And then feel this feeling in every cell of your body. Really inform your emotional body with the positiveness that this goal creates, or the successful reaching this goal creates. And then enter in a mindset of gratefulness. So be grateful that you will achieve that goal. And then you usually get a neutral focus, and that's you want the optimal result to get there. And then start the analysis. Then your mind is also focused on the right thing. Now, as I already explained, first there's analyzed, or I didn't explain that yet because I wanted to do it now. First, you analyze which of the business databases is the most relevant, or which are the most relevant. I think 2 or 3 are selected then. And then automatically in those most important databases, it's analyzed which of the entries are now the most important for your target. And of course, you always have the relevance, intensity, and potency. Also, very important for the target itself, the relevance is always 100% because that's what you want. So it's 100% relevant. The intensity and the potency are analyzed also for your target because that's the information that is used to send it in the information field if you vibrate the information into the information field. And of course, it's also analyzed for all other entries. Now, the first thing you should do when you finish an analysis, read through the analysis mindfully. So really read through it maybe 1 or 2 times. So you really need to understand it. Because if you make those things conscious in your mind, then you also enable your conscious mind to work on those things. And then you should reflect. And there are 2 possible things, or the main cases are, first, it's something you already do, but you should improve in your business. And the second thing is, it's something that's completely new. And then you should integrate it as a new trade, as a new thing that you do in your business. And if you know what basically is needed, so what you need to integrate, what you need to change, then visualize that. Visualize that those things are already taken place, that they actually happened. Though you, I don't know, increased your advertisement with Google Ads, you basically put in more social media work, whatever. So visualize, how would that look like? How would that look like if I would do that? And then see, okay, how would that feel like if I would integrate it? Would I be more successful? Most likely, yes. And store that positive feeling in your mind and then vibrate the information in the information feed, because that's also something I didn't mention too many times, but of course, on what you focus when you vibrate the information in the information feed, is as important as your focus when you analyze it in the information field. You really should put in your conscious mind also, not only your unconscious mind. And of course, it's not like that you have to hardcore focus all the time the vibration runs, but you should be, when you start it, in this realm that you understand what you're doing, why you're doing that, and what you're vibrating in the information feed. And very important if you work in teams is you always need to make sure that you have the consent of all the people that are involved in the analysis. So, and also, if you're working in a team, involve them in your analysis action. Because when you work together on something and everyone puts his conscious mind, basically, and of course his unconscious mind also, in a target together, that is much more powerful, usually. And as I always say, it's not about going through every single entry. Please read through the entries, and if something resonates with you, that you put more effort in thinking about how to realize that, how to integrate it in the business. What does it mean? How could it help me? Because it's not about quantity, it's all about quality. Because if you understand what's standing there, if your body feels the positive things that can happen if you do what you find there, that actually makes the bigger difference. And now for the vibration. So you should, of course, at least once a day vibrate the information in the information field, ideally up to 5 times, about 1 minute. And now it gets tricky. After 1 to 4 weeks, why after 1 to 4 weeks? Uh, because if you have something that you just change in your business, you already do it, you just need a little tweak. Then usually that takes 1 to 2 weeks. But if you integrated something completely new in your business, it usually takes 4 weeks at least that it actually you see the results. And then whatever is basically fitting for you, then you do the new analysis. And of course, you can create new targets anytime. So if you have a new target that you want to basically put on top, then just go through the same process. And then